Chairperson of the United Kwacha Alliance, State Council Sakwiba Sikota, thank you so much for joining me tonight on this day. From where I sit, things seem to continue falling apart in your alliance, Mr. Sakwiba Sikota. Kindly explain to the Zambians what exactly is happening in UKA.
Yes, we've always been united. All the members who are inside the UKA are united.
State Council Sakwiba Sikota, the opposition seems to be fragmented now. We are seeing formations of so many alliances. We've got the Zambia We Want Alliance, now the Tonse Alliance, where most of the members that were in UKA have now joined the Tonse Alliance. Do you feel threatened by the formation of Tonse Alliance?
We're not threatened by alliances or by political parties, whether it's even the ruling party. We're not threatened by them. The only thing that threatens UKA is the bad living conditions of Zambian people, the lack of democracy and democratic space in Zambia, the poverty which is in Zambia. Those things are a threat because with the lack of democratic space, it becomes difficult to go out there and tell people your position on things and tell them what solutions you have for them. With the poverty, it becomes a challenge because those who may have resources and like state funds are able to give little incentives like handouts to the electorate. And when somebody is giving you something, you then start having this feeling that you owe it to them. So we are not in competition with either the UPND or competition with any alliance or any individual. We are in competition with the bad living conditions that the Zambian people have. We are in competition with the dire economic situation leading to people having to walk many, many miles and to get to work and back, not being able to afford public transport. We are threatened by the high rate of unemployment, which has led to us seeing lots of junkies. Those are the things that threaten us. We're not threatened by individuals or alliances.
Former President Edgar Lungu has consistently mentioned that he is part of UKA, whilst he's serving also as president of the Tonse Alliance. As chairperson of UKA, what truly and truly is the correct picture of President Edgar Lungu?
No, I think that we've made our position very, very clear. And we did state a few weeks back that we don't believe in duality. There's nobody who's got duality. It's like the way it was in Zambia before the constitution was amended, that you could not have a dual citizenship. I think that it's only after the 2016 that one was able to have dual citizenship. And then what is, if you acquired another citizenship other than your Zambian citizenship, I'm talking about before 2016, you automatically lost your Zambian citizenship. If you made that choice, it meant that you had forfeited your Zambian citizenship. Equally, with regards to membership of UKA, if you decide to go against the rules, just like with the dual citizenship, if you decide to walk away, that is your choice. Then you have forfeited your membership because you cannot have dual citizenship. That has been clear right from the word go. That's the reason why President Pastoral was good enough to state that in view of that provision in our rules, he was no longer going to be with UKA and he would opt to be with Tonse. So that is the situation. You lose your dual citizenship once, you lose your citizenship once you acquire or attempt to acquire dual citizenship because it's not allowed.
State Council, I would love for you to be very clear on the position of Edgar Lungu. Is he still part of UKA?
They've walked away. They walked away from UKA.
For the opposition political party players that have left UCA, they've mentioned one thing that is very consistent, that most of the UCA members are surrogates of the UPND. What are you saying over these allegations that have been leveled against this alliance?
I must say that there are some very artistic and creative people who are taking artistic license to show their creativity. And at the same time, the same people are saying, come over to their alliance. How would you be inviting somebody who's a surrogate of UPND to join your alliance? I mean, it doesn't make sense. I mean, just look at that and it gives you the answer.
Another reason that has consistently been mentioned by these members of UCA, should I say now former members of UCA, is on how you lack direction and lack seriousness. One of the issues was the fact that you have taken so much time in choosing the presidential candidate that you're going to field in the next election, which is 2026. Maybe also, I would love for you to address that issue. Why has UCA taken so much time in picking its presidential candidate?
I don't know why, as and so on, everybody is focused on one individual. Zambia is not about one individual. Zambia is about a collective, and the alliance is about collectives and how they can change the lives of the Zambian people. Us in UCA do not concentrate on individuals. We concentrate on policies. We concentrate on what is the best way to deliver to the Zambian people. Us in UCA believe that the strength of an alliance is not in any one single member of the alliance, but in the collective of the alliance. The whole concept of the alliance is that the strengths of each complement the others, that each checks on the other. That is the way that we look at alliances. We don't want to spend our time speaking about individuals. We want to spend our time talking about issues. That is what is going to make a difference to the Zambians.
You've had a back and forth with regards to the registration of the United Kwacha Alliance. What is the latest update regards the registration of this alliance?
Well, with that, of course, we'll keep on trying, but we've got our plan B, which is that with or without registration. By the way, the concept is not based on registration. The concept which the Zambian people have bought into is with or without registration. They've bought into the concept. So whether you register the concept or not, it is still there. It will not die. A concept is not something that you can kill by simply saying we're not registering it. So we are able to do what as UCA through any vessel, any one of the members of UCA. So we are not perturbed. We are well on course, and we will achieve what we want to do.
Well, I think we've seen an exchange of words publicly from the Tonse Alliance members as well as the UCA Alliance members. We'll have seen, for example, what Madam Sakwiba Sikota has been posting around UCA and equally vice versa. How are you interacting, with Tonse? Do you see it as your enemy?
Like I was saying, UCA is not in competition with any alliance. It's not in competition with any political party, not even the party in power with the UPND. We are not in competition with them. We are in competition with all the factors which are bringing the lives of the Zambian people into a state of despair. We are in competition with policies that are making the gap between the rich and the poor greater. We are in competition with the factors which lead to disharmony between regions in the country. We are in competition with the lack of rule of law. That is our concentration, and that will be our concentration. We will not be sidetracked into sideshows and so on. Our focus and concentration will be to compete against the things which bring the lives of the Zambian people down.
It now seems like it's a three political party army, the UCA, a once alliance that had so many members, but now the people that are seen is yourself, State Council Sakwiba Sikota, Jackson Silabwe, as well as Sabo Imboila, also Harry Claver. It's a four-army political party. Are you able to give us an update in terms of the membership of UCA? So many political parties seems to have left UCA.
The current membership of UCA is fantastic. It is the millions of people, because the membership of UCA is not the political parties, but it's the people of Zambia. And going around, we find that they are receiving us very, very well. In terms of political parties, there's, apart from the ones you've mentioned, there are others. There's President Nawakwi, there's President Kateka, there's President Cosmo Mumba, there's President Robert Mwansa, the Chancellor, there are many. Apart from that, the membership is not limited only to political parties and individuals. We are also open to NGOs, professional bodies, and currently are talking with quite a number of them. And it's the concept which is making it look so attractive to people and which they are buying into.
On the 20th of December, there's going to be a by-election in Kawambwa. Is UCA participating in this by-election?
Not only are we participating in the Kawambwa by-election, but we're also winning it. The flag bearer is going to be Citizens First. President Kalaba was there to just check on things and how things are going. And he's going to be reporting back to us as to what he found. But over the lines and so on, we have been talking with our people on the ground there, and there's tremendous support that is being received, and there's no doubt that we are carrying the day.
You speak with so much confidence, but this confidence does not replicate on how you've been performing in the last by-elections. You have poorly performed State Council with your United Kwacha Alliance. What gives you the confidence that you're going to win this parliamentary seat?
We haven't won, but we've been on an upward spiral, and learning from each participation that we are making, and fine-tuning our campaigns and everything. That is what gives us the confidence. We're fast learners, and we adapt very well.
Before we can get into the details of the pastoral letter, I would love for you to give a general overview of what you make of the pastoral letter that was issued on the 15th of November this month.
I think that they brought forward very, very important issues. And I'm disappointed with the way that government is responding. The government is responding in a similar manner as they responded to the UN Human Rights Report, the way they responded to various people who have raised issues such as the Law Association of Zambia. Rather than addressing the issues raised, they start throwing mud at the person who's saying it. That shows that they are not able to answer the issues raised. So the only resort is to start throwing mud at the Catholic Church. It's a pity that that is what they intend to do. And it shows people that they've got no answers. to what has been raised in the pastoral letter. I challenge them to just come to the press, not attack anybody, but address each one of the issues one by one and state what is being done about them and their view of them, rather than coming and starting to throw mud at people. That is not the way to respond to criticism.
I should have perhaps asked you this question in the beginning, because just a few days ago you lost another member in Thomas Sipalo, who was your chairperson in charge of the youth. What is your position over the leaving of Thomas Sipalo?
Well, there's lots of gains as well of people. You're talking of one individual having left. On the same, there's probably about 150 people who joined. And then what is that in Zambia, you've got the right to belong to whichever formation that you wish to belong to. And also, you're also aware that we do have a no duality policy, so people are free to move as they wish. I think that what is important, like I said, is for us to keep focus on the people of Zambia, not focus on individuals. We will not be making progress as a country.
One interesting thing that Sipalo mentions is that he's left your alliance because of greediness, but also he mentions lack of direction from the alliance. What is your reaction to these assertions that Sipalo mentioned when he left the alliance?
You know, like I told you, our concentration is on issues. What you're saying is, it's a bit like years ago there was a program on TV called The Jerry Springer Show, where you had all kinds of characters coming on and saying all kinds of things, doing all kinds of things. And it was really, that Jerry Springer Show was of no value. I don't know whether you knew it or have known it. It was of no value. So right now, it's as if you're trying to make this like a Jerry Springer Show, where you ask, in Jerry Springer, you'd even have things like nude mud wrestling, you know, in the mud wrestling nude. I want to tell you that I would never participate in nude mud wrestling, you know. I would make sure that I keep on not just my hat, but everything else. So I'm not going to participate in nude mud wrestling.
State Council Sakwiba Sikota, the reaction to the pastoral letter from the side of government has been one that has been described to be very diplomatic, because government has said they are still studying the pastoral letter, and in due course they are going to privately engage the Catholic bishops, and if need arises, they're going to update the nation in regards to what they feel about this pastoral letter. But also they've gone ahead through the minister responsible for information and media, who also is chief government spokesperson, Cornelius Mwetwa, to say that the party, the UPND, should not respond to the pastoral letter because this letter was done by the government. Don't you think this is what you also, the opposition, did expect, that government, you know, ought to respond to such a letter?
It seems like they're very slow students. It's not too long ago when there was another piece of the one from the United Nations. They said they were studying it as well. It seems their studies never end. It's just a way for them to sort of like kick the can down the road. They should merely come and address the issues, not try to be smart about it. They're just trying to be smart.
Getting to the specifics of the pastoral letter, State Council Sakwiba Sikota, one of the things that the pastoral letter does highlight is the increase in the arrest of opposition politicians and lawful detentions. I would like to get your position over this concern that the bishops raised in the pastoral letter.
That is totally disingenuous on the part of the government. Like I said, they are merely trying to pull the wool over our eyes. What has been raised by the Catholic bishops is the same as being raised several times by different organizations. What has been raised, they should have by now known what is in there. It's the same thing that the opposition had been saying. So what they're saying is that they have not been listening for them to now say that they want to study. And also them saying they just want to meet privately with the church. That also is not right. The church is merely speaking on behalf of the Zambian people. It is not speaking on its own behalf. So you cannot say that you will just privately talk to them. You have to talk to the Zambian people for whom the church is speaking. So that is not acceptable. That is being cowardly by them to say that they want to meet quietly with the church.
Another issue that has been mentioned is the retention of anti-democratic laws and the penal code, and the Catholic bishops mention particularly the Cyber Crimes Act and the Public Order Act as some of the laws that are archaic, and government must look into ensuring that they repeal these laws. I would like to get your position as an opposition over this concern that the bishops are having.
I think that the pastoral letter is very correct to raise that issue. One of the things that is very disturbing is that the president is directing who should be arrested. You remember just very recently, he then started talking about Chipo made her stand up and ask people to look at her. And then he said that he himself said he has instructed the Minister of Home Affairs, and he has also instructed DEC to arrest. That is not the business of the president. The president should never direct law enforcement agencies to arrest anyone. It's not the first time he has done so. I'm using this as the latest example of him doing things which are totally against the rule of law. What does he expect an investigator will do who then takes up the matter? Is he going to, that investigator, say, no, the president was absolutely wrong, I'm not going to arrest? He's under undue pressure. He will definitely arrest. So the president should stop doing that. Or if he doesn't want to stop, then he should apply for the job of being the DEC Director General and resign as president. He cannot be doing the job of the DEC. That is wrong, totally wrong. And then you find that as they are doing that, they are also arresting people and not giving them police bond. Because of not giving them police bond, you find that they are in incarceration for weeks. Look at the Kaumba brothers. They were in there for more than 3 weeks on a matter which should have been taken to court. It's as if the president wishes to have a state of emergency where he can detain people for long periods. But because he doesn't have the numbers, he can't declare a state of emergency, so he still exercises and rules this country as if it is under a state of emergency. It is only under a state of emergency that people can be put and incarcerated for so long. Look at Thomas Ziam. Was there a need for him to be incarcerated for so long? Look at the Gen Z, those three young people. Was there a need for them to be detained for so long? The president should stop running away from the fact that we have never seen such political persecution. We have never seen such things happening in our country before.
On the economic side of things, the pastoral letter, State Council Sakwiba Sikota, starts by commenting over some of the strides that they've made. And they point out issues such as the debt restructuring deal that this government managed to clinch, but also they commend government for employing thousands of health workers and teachers. Don't you think these are some of the strides that you also, the opposition, must commend government for, despite some of these economic hardships that the country is passing through?
I think that we need to put it in perspective. Yes, we have gotten the debt restructuring, but has it affected the lives of the people? No, it hasn't. Yes, they have recruited teachers, but have we seen those 100+ students to a class ratios coming down? No, it hasn't. So whereas there are certain things which, when you look at them, they seem to be positive, they're not having the effect they're supposed to.
Don't you think this is the right way of doing things?
Like, for example, look at the levels of poverty. The government figures themselves show that poverty levels are rising. Look at the unemployment rate. Government figures themselves show that unemployment is rising. So clearly, they are not having the desired effect. Look at the levels of poverty. The government figures themselves show that poverty levels are rising. Look at the unemployment rate. Government figures themselves show that unemployment is rising. So clearly, they are not having the desired effect.
The UPND took over office at a very tough time. Obviously, at the time that they were taking over office in 2021, we were just coming, from the harsh economic situation through the COVID-19 pandemic. 3 years into their stay in office, we saw the West drought. According to some experts, that we experienced the West drought, in this season. Don't you think if this drought hadn't fallen before us, things would have been better, State Council?
The drought is a very easy, convenient excuse for the government, talking about that we don't have enough mealie meal. It is not because of the drought. We don't have enough mealie meal because this government very unwisely thought that they should sell the stock that we had. That is the reason why we had the mealie meal shortage. The whole point of strategic reserves is to deal with situations like when you have a drought. So they should just put up their hands and admit they messed up. They messed up. There's no other way you can put it. Even in terms of the electricity, they are leaving us with no electricity, but at the same time, exporting to neighboring countries. Again, they should just put up their hand and admit that they are messing up. On the issue of electricity, well, still on that issue of electricity, the Russian government had offered to give us power from one of their power tankers that they have, just like they do in Sierra Leone, at a much cheaper rate than what we're paying and on terms. But out of trying to impress the West, that offer was not taken up by this government. That was unwise. We should have a policy of being non-aligned so that we get the best from all worlds. We should not be casting ourselves as pro-West or pro-East. We should be just casting ourselves as pro-Zambia. And whatever is best for Zambia is what we should be doing, not these unwise decisions that they are taking.
Finally, State Council, the pastoral letter does conclude with the church really, calling for a very... Finally, State Council, the pastoral letter does conclude with the church calling for a better relationship that the church must have with the state. They mentioned quite a number of concerns that they've had with the state. One issue that they mention is the issue involving Father Alik Banda and how he was called the Lucifer of Zambia, or is it of Lusaka, by the UPND Secretary General, but also there raised concerns, around how they were ill-treated at the memorial of the late Michael Chilufya Sata when they were refused to enter, into the cathedral. What is your take on how this administration has related with the church?
I think the government must simply come out clean and apologize and say, let's start afresh. There is no way you can be there. You have had Archbishop Alik Banda being called Lucifer, and you think that, well, all is well, we shouldn't publicly retract those words, publicly sanction the person who has made them. So you're adopting those words and you feel comfortable with them, so comfortable that you feel that you don't even need to apologize for such words. You have, just a few days ago, Minister Honorable Milupi making aspersions at them as a result of the pastoral letter that came out. You have some churches being blocked from attending to their congregants. You have had on the Copperbelt churches that were raided. You have all those kind of things happening. Those just deserve the government to say, sorry, we messed up. We're not going to do that again. Here's our public apology. Please forgive us. That is what is needed from the government. Them not doing that shows that they've got no respect for the church, that they think that they can carry on the way that they're doing. That is not right.
State Council Sakwiba Sikota, thank you so much for making time to be with us on this day tonight.
Thank you for having me.